Shalom, shalom. This is Shalom from the Great Millstone Atlanta camp. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Radash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of the Great Millstone that teach and rule well. Peace and love and safety to the hopeful elect. And I just wanted to go into this lesson. I don't know what I'm going to title it, but I was just sitting here talking to my rib, and we was talking about how Esau would just do things to try and, get up under your skin. He would try his hardest to, he'll go above and beyond basically to try and get you to do something to him where he can be the victim. All right. But at the end, they want to look like a hero. That's why you see well, you don't see as much now, even though it's still going on, the police shootings, so-called black men that are unarmed. The police, they tell this story. Well, I feared for my life, and it looked like he had a gun. Just to try and justify them killing Jake. It's even this whole setup, how America is set up. With certain laws, Jim Crow, all of these ways that they've almost mastered and studied Jake and see where his flaws are. They see that we're oppressed, so what do? They put drugs in the community. They put a lot of liquor stores. It's set up to oppress you, pretty much. So I'm just going to start out with a few scriptures. And the main one I thought about was Genesis 49:10 or 49:8. Because I'm just going to read it. It says, Genesis 49:8, it says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Okay, so that's not physically. I mean, it has before, but you don't never see Jake, or you don't never see Judah, so-called Negroes, with they physical hand around the neck of Esau. That's actually talking about what they call the segregation days, which was actually better for our people. Jake was doing a lot of marching, passing certain laws so they can vote, basically trying to put themselves on the same level as Esau. That was big in the 60s to 70s, after slavery. And still now, you have different groups that, come up against this white man, so-called African-American groups. You have the Black Panthers, and, you even have some militant groups. But yeah, they have their hand on the neck of the enemies. But that's not physical. It says, thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So Judah is going to be praised for basically for standing up to the enemy. That's what it's talking about. Judah standing up to the enemy. Verse 9, this is the main point. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? And that's how Judah is. Judah like a, old lion that's just laying around. They look scary, they look intimidating, but it's really hard to rouse Judah up. Now, let another lion come around, Jacob fight their own people all day. But when it comes to Esau, they want to do marches. They want to do, get on camera and talk. But it's not, they're not going to physically go to war with the so-called white man. Now, there's going to come a time Things are going to change. All right. And I'm not saying this to incite any type of violence, but it's going to get violent. Now, on the other hand, the scriptures tell us not to get carnal, because right now, if you want to get carnal with Esau, the so-called white man, you will lose unless you two are in a ring and it's just a hand-to-hand combat. But any type of weapons, this is this man's blessing. His blessing is the sword. He has mastered that. He has mastered oppressing us by him having hit that blessing and the fatness of the earth and basically everything in his hand. He can do these things. That's why the scriptures say when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. The people are mourning right now, everywhere, all over the planet, because this white man is in power. All right. So it's a lot of things you can do. As a matter of fact, back in the 90s with this the Rodney King situation, man, that pissed Jake off. We didn't have cameras on phones. Somebody had a camcorder and they recorded this man getting beat. And you didn't normally see something like that. So that's why it sparked outrage all over the country. It was riots everywhere. They caused millions and hundreds of millions of dollars of damage because of what of one man getting beat by the police. But now you see that a lot. And what is Jake doing? They don't do nothing. They get on video, they talk, they get on the news, they speak, and that's it. But so Esau is trying to come out with another way. We got to get these guys out, to get riled up so we can further our objective. All right, they want you to get out of hand so that they can come with martial law and all these other things. Now you got other Edomites that's gonna crash out before Jake will. All right, it takes a lot to really get Judah going. But yeah, they just gonna keep trying. They're gonna keep trying, and just to try and get you, to get violent. Now, a while back on the and over here in the in this metro Atlanta area, there was a situation where this guy, he had a gun, white guy. He started road rage with this black guy. Black guy didn't fall for it. He just kept driving. Went all the way to a shopping center. He followed the guy. The guy got out the car, still messing with him, still taunting him. So the police ended up getting involved. The guy called the police on, Jake called the police on Esau. Police came and got Esau. This is how proud this devil is and how comfortable he is in his kingdom. He told these guys he was trying to find an excuse to shoot him. That's why he kept antagonizing him. And Jake was just like, look, man, I'm a football coach. I got long patience. I knew this guy wanted to, probably do something to me. And that's why I ignored him. Just call the police. So he did the right thing. But it's Esau going to really push some buttons on a lot of you Jakes. Now, I'm in Genesis 49. Let's go down to verse 19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. All right, now that's going to actually be when Esau is completely taken down. Okay, Yahushua has to come back first, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He has to come back and he has to take Esau down himself. Okay, let's go to Genesis 63. And I'm going to read from the top and go down a few verses. Isaiah 63 and verse 1, it says, who is that coming from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Basra is just the main city in Edom. In this case, this is talking about America. All right, because America is that great city, the great whore, Babylon the Great. It says this that is glorious This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Then it says, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel? This is describing Esau. It says, and thy garments like him that treaded in the wine fat. And this is Yahweh Shai. It says, verse 3, I have treaded the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. So Yahweh Shai, he gonna come back and he gonna get busy on these devils. It says, for I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain all my raiment. So the Lord's like, yeah, they blood gonna be covered in their blood. Verse 4, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. Yahweh Shai, he's waiting on this day. He said that the day of vengeance is in his heart. All right, now when you go to Isaiah 66 and 15, it says, for behold, the Lord Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So now this is, it has Lord in all caps, but who is he going to be using? He's going to be using the holy angels, and he's going to be, and Yahweh Shai is going to be the right there in the midst. First one. A beautiful and perfect description is in 2nd Esdras 13, how Yahweh Shai is going to come back over there during World War III, and then these armies are going to try and fight Yahweh Shai, and he's just going to, that fire's going to come out that chariot and just devour everybody. Okay. But like I said, we're not carnal. Esau is going to try and get us there. But it's going to come a time when Yahweh Shai return, Jake going to get busy in that time. Not how we look now. It's going to be a totally different thing. 2 Corinthians 10:4 says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down of strongholds. So yeah, we have a spiritual warfare right now. We're bringing this place down spiritually, doing these lessons, waking people up. This is destroying Esau's kingdom through the spirit. All right, people are waking up to who this devil is. His plan, the things that he's trying to do, and basically uncovering his secrets. Okay. Same topic. Let's go to Romans 8 and verse 6. It says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for life and peace. Even though we want to get carnal, but we have to walk in the spirit, knowing that one day we're not going to have to deal with this devil and all his bullshit and his lies and him trying to, get you roused up. So right now it's a spiritual thing that we're, just walking in the spirit, doing lessons, praying to the Lord for everything. Romans 12 and 19 says, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. So we're just going to let the Lord deal with it right now. It may be a time where you think somebody, either it's another Jake or one of these devils done got one over on you, just keep going to the Lord. You have no idea what that person is actually dealing with personally, what the Lord done did to him. So it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna come a time when Yahweh shall return. Let's go to Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51 and 20. It says, "Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms." So the Lord is going to use Israel to do these things. Break in pieces the nations, destroying kingdoms. It's going to start with Yahweh Shai. But when Yahweh Shai return, that glory and those spiritual powers are going to be placed on certain men to get busy. Like I said, right now we have nothing. We have nothing. All we have are prayers. All right, in faith. Okay, Ezekiel 25 and 14. It says, "And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel." Just like when I was reading in Genesis 49 and 19 about Gad overcoming in the end. That's when Gad is going to pretty much get his lick back. All of this stuff is going to happen when the Lord returns. And not only that, salvation, getting out of this place, seeing his kingdom go down, Esau getting revenge back on Esau. But right now, all we can do is wait on the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and get ready to see Yahweh Shai, what he's gonna do to these heathens. It says, I'm gonna continue. It says, "And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Lord Yahweh." You're gonna know that it's the Lord's vengeance. Like, we're not gonna be fighting Esau Edom with his blessing, with his guns. When the Lord come back and put that spirit and put those powers on certain Israelites, you gonna know that it's the vengeance of Yahweh by Shema Shai. It's not gonna be nothing that you ever seen before. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashir, Rahakadash. Double honor to my elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us his truth. Shalom to the elect.